Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of DevDrawer. Today we're going to be continuing the Laravel installation, and we're going to be setting up it to use the authentication scaffolding as well as the Bootstrap scaffolding. Previous video that we did was just installing it, setting it up on our virtual server, and you can check a link in one of the pop-ups that should be happening about right now for that video. But in this video we're going to take what we did last time and just make it a little prettier and add some authentication to it. Before we get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, there's plenty of videos like this out there, and we're also going to be doing an entire series step by step for Laravel development, so subscribe now and let's go ahead and get started. So one of the first things that I want to do is go ahead and require Laravel UI. So we can't just use the regular Laravel UI. If you look in the documentation over here, it says that you can just, where is it at? Front end, I believe, maybe? No. Let's go to the security tab, authentication. Where it says up here you can just install Laravel UI, but we can't do that with our current installation because we're using 7. If you do that, it's going to try to install Laravel UI 3, which is not compatible with 7, so you need to type this instead. So we're going to do composer require Laravel/UI version 2.0. No, 2.4 I think is the correct version. Let me try to look at my notes to make sure. Okay, and actually let's back this up a little bit. So let's do this instead. So 2.4, and then we're going to hit enter on that and let it go through the installation of the UI files, which should add some stuff to our vendor folder, and then whenever we go to actually use Artisan to create it, it's going to create some additional views that we are going to be able to see pop up in just a minute. Alright, so now that it's got all the packages installed that it needs, I'm going to run sudo php artisan UI bootstrap with the authentication flag, so it also installs the scaffolding for the authentication routes and pages. So let's do the password. Now before we run this command, we don't have a database currently set up for it, so we're going to open up PHP My Admin over here. So 192.168.0.33/PHP My Admin, and then we're going to log in with our user account. And then we're going to come to our databases and we're just going to create a database called Laravel. And let's make this go to general, UTF-8 MB4 general. So create that. Okay, so now we're ready to get started by running our npm install and our npm run dev. So let's type that in. So I'm going to do, we need to do sudo on this. Let's just go ahead and do it anyway. So sudo npm install and npm run dev. And let's let it go through the installation. It's probably going to take a little bit of time, but as you can see here, it's already starting to build some of the views that we need. It's going to be adding some routes, so that way that we can actually set up our full page layout for the login, registration, password forgot, and all this kind of stuff. So once it gets done installing, we're going to try to open up one of those pages. Alright, so now that it's done, we have our CSS and our JS has been installed for Bootstrap. So if we look inside of our public folder, we have our app.css and our app.js that's been installed there. So that's good. Nope, don't want to do that. Cancel this. And the way that we reference that is that we need to add a code in there to be able to use the scaffolding. So inside of here, we're going to just add a style sheet reference. So we're going to do link rel equals style sheet, and then we're just going to point it to the CSS folder. So we're going to do curly brackets asset css/app.css, and then we're going to end that with 2 curly brackets as well. So now on our website over here, you can see that the format has changed a little bit. So we can come over here and say that we're going to do div class equals container, and then this will add a container using Bootstrap's container. Let's put this inside of this, and now you can see now it's kind of it has that padding on the left and the right, or we can do container-fluid to make it full screen. So that's we can verify there that our Bootstrap CSS has been installed. Alright, so now that we've installed or verified Bootstrap is installed, let's verify that the routes for the register and the authentication pages work. So we're going to come over here to register, and we can see that it's using Bootstrap design, and it's set up so that it will I think right now it's not connected to our database. We're going to have to connect that. So if we hit register, so let's just say we want to dev drawer, and this is going to be test at example.com password, and we hit register. It should show us an error that we don't currently have access to this. So in order to fix that error, we need to come over here into our .environment, and we need to change this. So we're using dbhost. Let's change this to localhost 3306. The username is going to be, for my account, is going to be devdrawer, and password is password. The database is Laravel that we created earlier, so we should be able to save this now and refresh this page again, and this is what we should be seeing. So currently inside of our database, we don't have any tables because we didn't run the migrations. We could either run the command php artisan migrate, or we can just click on this button right here that says run migrations. So I'm assuming that most people would just click on the run migrations, so I'm going to show you how to do it on this side. So we're just going to run, I'm going to do a sudo and then php artisan migrate. You don't need to do sudo here, but just because of the way the account structure is set up with mine, I'm just going to do this sudo on here to make sure that it runs in the right permissions. So we run that, and then it creates all of these tables. So now if we go back to our Laravel database, we see that now we have all of this information here. So if we refresh our page again, we are now registered and logged in. So we can log out here. And let's go ahead and create some links to our register and our login. So let's see, I'm going to do, let's just put right above this, we're going to do header, and then inside of this we're going to have div class container fluid, and then inside of this we're going to have div class row, and let's do a text right. Alright, so for this we're going to add in, let's just do 2 links. So we're going to do the first link here, and it's going to be register, and then let's add another one for login. Login. Now for the URLs here, so we can see the text here. For the URLs, we need to do kind of like what we did up here, but we need to call the routes as they are currently laid out. Okay, so up here we're just going to include something from the default welcome blade. There was a call over here. Let me minimize this for a second. There was a call over here that we could manipulate that checks to see if there is a route. So we're going to do if route has login, and then we're going to display the authentication. So if route has login, let's go ahead and do an end if. So end if, and then inside of here we're going to do another check. So if it's authenticated, we don't want to display the register login screen again, so we're going to change that to display just the the home link. So nope. Come over here, and then inside of this we're just going to do ahref, and then this is going to be home, and we're just going to close that out, and then at else. Now we're going to display these other two links that we have in there, and then we're going to at end if. So now if we're logged into the system, it won't show these links. So let's hit login. Oh wait, I don't have a URL for that. It's going crazy. Okay, so the login, and it's going to be kind of the same as what we're going to do with the home. So let's say our register link is going to be pointing to the route register. So route register, because that's what was created with the authentication that we did. And then we can close that out, and then we're going to do the same thing with our login route. So let's just copy that and change this to login. So now if we click on login over here, once it finally loads, okay, so now we click on login, it'll bring us to the login screen. So I think we did test@example.com with password. So now we hit login, and now we're currently logged in. So if we go back to the home page as we're logged in, now we just see the home link instead of the register and the login link. So let's go back over here, and now we're going to log out, and now we see the register and the login link again. So we need to also make it where this home goes to the home route. So let's come over here, and I believe we can just type in home here. If not, then we're gonna have to type in /home. So let's log in again and fill this information out, and let's stay logged in. But if we go here, we should be able to click on this, and it brings us to our /home. So this is how you would check to see if they're logged in, and if they are logged in, you're going to display this link, which is essentially going to bring them to their dashboard. Now if we look at the documentation, we can go down a little bit, and there's a part in here that says where we can change our home screen. So right now we have it going to /home, but let's say we don't want this to be /home, we want it to be /dashboard. So let me open up this, and I'm just going to close out of that. And for now, in order to edit this, we need to go to our route service provider, which is, where is it at? App providers, route service provider. Now we scroll down on here, and it's /home. We're gonna change this to say /dashboard. So now it's going to make it where whenever you go to log in, it's going to try to redirect you to this /dashboard. So let's log out and then log back in. So this is test, password, and we log in, it goes to our dashboard. But of course it's a 404 because we haven't actually set up what that route should be. So now we need to go to our routes, which is going to be inside of our routes folder under web, and then we're going to change this from /home to /dashboard. And now you can see it has changed. And all of this is using Bootstrap. So if we want to, we can come in here and customize the way that this looks. So this is using the home layout. So the home.blade. Let me bring this down a little bit so you can see this. So if we want to, we can come in here and say that we're going to do this as a container fluid so it matches the rest of our stuff. And I'm having issues with my, I need to go in here and set the permissions. Hold on a second. Back up there. Nope, this is the www permissions. So let's go back up. Find our www here. Okay, so now try to save that again. Oh, why is it doing that? Okay, so that error is getting on my nerves. So I'm just going to add this user to the group. So if you want to follow along, you can do this. If you already have permissions set up with your server to allow you to make changes using the www data or your user account, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it. So it's going to be sudo user mod -a -g www-data, and then my username, so dev drawer, and basically that's going to just add my dev drawer to the www-data group. Okay, so then after that I'm going to do a sudo change group -r www-data /var/www, so this never happens again, and that's going to give us readabilities and readabilities inside of this folder, and then we're finally going to give ourselves permissions inside of the folder itself. So -r g plus w var www, and that should do that. So now I should be able to refresh. Okay, it's already refreshed to the dashboard, so that's working. The permissions are working there. Let's go ahead and make a change over here now. So we're going to just make this a column so it stretches all the way across, and obviously now we can edit the whole thing the way that we're supposed to be able to edit it instead of having to switch back and forth. I figured I'd be able to get around that, but having to work in both sides of it is kind of annoying. So if you run into the issue, then you can make that simple change as well and just add yourself to that www-data group, and it should stay that way forever since we put it on the var www folder. Okay. Okay, so we have the where we're logged in right now. The layouts header is not registering with the full width like we want it to, so we're going to come up to layouts app.blade, which you can see up here, layouts.app. So we're going to edit this app.blade, and we're going to make it full screen as well by doing that. So now we have our Bootstrap working the way that we want it to, and I think I completely forgot the reason why we logged into this, but I'm assuming it's because we wanted to see that dashboard link. So now if we select and go back out and we click on home, it should bring us back to the dashboard, which it does. So now we are going to log out and we can register another account, and while we're in here, let's go ahead and make these kind of go with the rest of our design as well. So let's get out of all of this. We don't need this or this anymore. So we have our login blade. We're going to again remove the column, make it fluid, which is going to make our login full width. Same thing with our register. So container dash fluid, and then finally column here. And let's go ahead and do the verify, even though we're not messing with the verify right now. Okay, so now all of these screens are they're looking like each other. If we click on our main page whenever we're not logged in, it's going to redirect us back to this home page with our register and login links. So let's log in again. No, what was it? Test, add example, then password, and now we're currently logged in. So what we can also do here is we currently have this /dashboard link, but let's say if we wanted to add another link. I'm going to get rid of all of these, and we're going to open up this app.blade, and then inside of this we're going to change around our we're going to add a link. I'm just trying to find out where I want to add it to, and I'm going to show you how to set up a authenticated route versus a non-authenticated route. So we have our login, register, which is going to be the two links that were over here. If we're authenticated, it's going to show our name, and then it's going to give us the logout form here, which is this little button. So where would be the best place to put it? Let's just put it beside the, let's just see what this one is. Alright, let's just do it here. So let's say we want to create a test page. So we're going to create href, and right now I'm just going to have it go to nothing, and then we're going to create a route and a view for this page so I can show you how to create these internal pages. Alright, so we have our home blade, and let's come over here and create a new folder called admin. So inside of this admin folder, we're going to I'm just going to copy the home blade and here, and we're just going to create a new file, and let's call it test.blade.php. And then inside of this, we're just going to change this from dashboard to test. So now we actually have this view that we can hit. So we're going to go down to our web, and underneath our authenticated routes call, we're going to come over here, and we don't want to call a route yet. So we're going to just, we don't want to call a controller for it because we haven't created one. So we're going to do slash, I think it was test, and it's going to return the view admin.test. So now we should be able to go to slash test, and we have our test page that we can we can't access from here because we haven't done that URL. So let's add a name to this. So we're just going to copy what we have here, and we're going to name this test. So inside of our app.blade, we can come over here, do our squiggly lines, and then do route test, close it, and let's see, what did I do wrong here? I didn't close out the, there we go. Alright, so now if we click on this link, it'll bring us to our test page. Click on this, it'll bring it to our home page. We click on this, it'll bring it to our dashboard page. So all of our pages are working. So now the difference between it being here and it being prior, so if we go, let's say we log out and now we try to access test, it should try to force us to, no, it didn't try to force us to log in. Okay, so let me look at this. You shouldn't be able to access this page. Oh, okay. So we need to add in the middleware authentication. So if we add in the middleware authentication and let's say log out. So if we try to go to test now, it brings us to the login screen. If we log in, or actually before we log in, we need to also make sure that it's not inside of this. So we have it up here. We're just going to do @guest and then @else, and then we're going to do @end guest. Alright, so that navigation won't show up unless we're logged into it. We can also put another page over there to show if we are logged into it. So I'm just going to change this, and we'll do this in just a second. So let's say like an About Us page. So the About Us page will show. Right now it's not going to route to the correct place because we haven't done that part. But let's log in as test example, and then password, and you can see that now it's using that test page. And we can also switch over to our dashboard, and you can see our dashboard. So let me go ahead and add in that dashboard link as well. So where is it at? Here, just to make it easy for us to be able to access it later. And this is going to be home. We're just going to change the word to dashboard. So now we have a dashboard link and a test link. It's not formatted very well because I haven't done any styling with it, but we click on dashboard, it goes to dashboard, we go to test over here. If we log out, both of them are gone. We click on login again, we have that navigation again where it says about. So let's come over to up here, and we're going to change this to let's do like public.about. And then inside of our views, let's create a new folder called public. And then I'm just going to copy this test blade, paste it in here, and we're going to rename this to about. So we don't need to have any of this. Let's just take all of this out and say h1 about us. Save that, and we need to define that route inside of our web. So we're going to come up here and put /about, and this is going to be public.test, and the name is going to be about us, which I think I named it wrong up here. It's definitely not public.about. It's going to be about.us. Alright, so now if we click on this, it'll bring us to the About Us page, which I need to change that. Go back, click on this, refresh, click on this, it brings us to the about page. View public, not public.test, public.about. Alright, so there is our about us route, and we can go ahead and just get rid of that as well. Okay, so now we have our register login. So if we click on register here, but if we go to our home page, it's not formatted the same way. So we're going to take our home page and we're going to take the layouts.app and we're going to use that inside of our content. So we don't need to do the header the way that we did do it. We're going to do it like this. And then inside of this, we're just going to add in this, and we can delete the rest of this. So we're just going to use that same layout that we've had previously. And let's just say that this is the home page. So now we have our home page, our about us page. When we go to register or log in, let's go ahead and hit this. And now it changes to dashboard and test. So this is a way you can do some simple authentication with Laravel. So I think that's going to probably do it for this tutorial. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button, let me know, thumbs up, leave a comment if you had any issues with it. I think the only issue you would probably have would be related to this user mod change group, just because of the way that the servers are running. But again, it's not for every server, it's just the way my local server was running, and I didn't really have that part configured, but now I do. So I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.